Hey guys, Shop Talk Podcast.
I'm a zero pro guy.
I did it, yeah. I ran a marathon.
You only crank screw?
Am I the town hero? 3 laps of that are just...
Hey guys, Shop Talk Podcast here, episode 84. We are in Boston with the legendary Carver Performance, Mike Carver. Thanks for having us here, Mike.
You're welcome, guys. Thanks for coming over here.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Thanks to Steph for helping us line this up. So, but yeah, we'll get into it here. We have a Yamaha Nitro sitting behind us. Iconic Yamaha Nitro. Very excited.
I wish you could see the bracing in the video and stuff.
Yeah.
That's probably the coolest part.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Yamaha stories. That's what I'm looking forward to. Quick shout out to Woody's Traction. You can use the code SHOPTALK10, save yourself 10% off and free shipping. Mike, I know your team there, you were using Stud Boy. Did you ever use any Woody's products in your racing days? Or
Yeah, here and there.
Yeah.
Maybe purchase some or whatever. I never had a sponsorship, but I have used their stuff as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Brody, your favorite Woody's product?
10-inch round bar. Maybe. Okay. I think.
Sure. Good. Yeah.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, that's right. That's a real
People know
thing.
what you're talking about.
I've heard that once or twice, so I think that's
That was
a
my
Woody's.
favorite. You can't steal that one.
Oh, I'm stealing
I'm
it.
actually starting to become a fan of the shaper bar. They call it the Maverick.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a Stud Boy shaper bar.
Yep.
That worked pretty good this year.
Yeah.
I just gave that secret away.
And then a shout out to our show, one of our show sponsors, VS3 Suspension, Vince Van Slyke. He's in the woods of Otter Tail today, racing dirt bikes. So yeah, with Mike Carver here, there's, I don't know of more of an iconic name, Mike, like in the sport, like just that you have the suspension industry that like you can have Fox or Walker Evans or KYB, but then it's always, okay, well, who worked on your shock? Who worked on your Fox shock? Oh, Carver did. So it's your name is like, I'm sure if you surveyed all the snowmobilers across the Midwest, people would know who Carver Performance is. Even when I was just doing some research today, I found an old thread on like an old Yamaha forum. Yep. And this guy was talking about your Yamaha Nitro spec that he got from you from like 08. So I thought that was pretty funny.
It's not just the snowmobiles either. I was in New York, right on the edge of the Vermont border, and I was riding dirt bikes on a track there. There's this one guy who was just hauling the mail out there. So I was watching him for a little while, and it was just me and him at the track. Then he come over and started talking to me, and he's like, well, where are you from? I'm like, northern Minnesota. He's like Mike Carver, you know Mike Carver? I was like, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, yeah, he does most of my shocks. His name was Sean Nutt. You know Sean Nutt?
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah. He used to race snowmobiles back in the day, he said, and then just does the dirt bike stuff now, and like, you know, older guy. But yeah. I thought that was pretty funny. Way out in Vermont.
But yeah, thanks for having us here, Mike. So you've done a lot in the industry of wrenching for or helping teams with shocks and working for Articat, working for Fox themselves, having your own business here. But like, where did it start? Where did you get your start here of the love of snowmobiles or motorsports?
At home growing up as a kid. My dad had snowmobiles. We had snowmobiles growing up and rode all the time and just loved it. We used to go to Thief River Falls when they had the Snow Pro races up there and watch the ovals. Loved doing that. And then, of course, I-500, go to, like, they used to go through, if you guys know where Bijou is, just south here. It went right through town. Where I grew up, that was like a 15-mile trip to go watch. And cross country is always that was the love.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because where did you grow up?
Actually, from my shop here, about 10, 12 miles.
Oh, really?
Straight west of here.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yep. Where so Steph gave me some notes here of just some tidbits. So your first race, the Goodridge 100, 1981.
Yes, it would have been 1982. I can't remember if that was that was supposed to be my first race for sure, but then I think they got postponed or something.
Oh,
Then I did race like a Heartland Racing Association race in Bemidji that year too.
oh, okay.
So, but I guess my story has been the Goodrich 100.
Yeah.
They were close in there, but
Kind of always a talking point of the local club races of
Yep.
bringing the Goodrich 100 back, of what a fun race it was. Even my dad talks about that to this day.
yep, always was a fun race. They raced it on a Saturday, and this is back in the day, Kyle. After the race was done Saturday, they'd have bands in town, and
That's what we need to bring back.
yep,
that is.
everybody would stick around and close the town down.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. So my dad said too, it was quite the party afterwards.
Yep.
You can get 100 miles done pretty fast, and you'd have something to look
You
forward
have,
to.
you have incentive. Yep.
Yeah, it'd be a lot. You get 100 miles done a lot faster today than you would in 81.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
So it'd probably have to be a 200-mile race
Yeah.
today.
Well, but the 500 goes for that's only 2-day races
Yeah.
up there. At
Yeah, true.
GG.
Yeah, yeah. That's one of the races to bring back.
Yeah.
Goodrich 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how old were you during your first race?
17 or 18.
17? Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, because you and Dad at the swap meet there were comparing ages, and you're both close in age. I think Dad just turned 60. So.
Yep. Yep. I think I'm a year older than he is.
Oh, okay.
So
then was it? It was some. Steph had said it was you were racing cars alongside the road.
I lived along a county highway, and I had I think it was like a 440 Cheetah Arctic Cat, but that was a trail machine.
Yeah.
But that's what I had, and of course I'd ride the same area back and forth. It was packed down, and
Yeah.
See a car coming, I'd be down a ditch, and
Start racing.
I want to pass the
I've
car.
done the same thing many times.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you're going along Highway 2 and you're passing cars, you're going pretty fast.
Yep.
Yeah. You kind of sit there and wait in an approach, wait for this car to come, let him go by, and
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. And I would ride and ride and ride. When I got old enough, my dad gave me instructions. There's a area out here of tar roads. He says you can go anywhere you want, but don't cross the tar road. Well, that was about 100 square mile area, more than that, that was available. So
Yeah.
I go riding.
And was it groomed trails around?
Oh, no.
Back then, no.
No, I just rode in the ditches across fields.
Yeah.
Just ride.
But then you had either a Goodrich or the Bemidji race, having one of them first races,
Yep.
were you hooked on
Oh,
racing?
absolutely. Yeah, I wanted to race so bad that, since I was chasing the cars up and down.
Exactly. Yeah, that's where he found out.
I'd try to read the stuff like magazines. I didn't get much, but I'd try to, follow it or whatever. I can't even remember how, really how I knew about the Goodrich 100. If it was local papers, I don't
sure.
even remember that, but I knew about it,
Yeah.
enough to, go sign up and race.
Was it just snowmobiles at that time, or were there any dirt bikes
No.
there yet?
Nope. Just snowmobiles.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yep.
Huh. So then in another one of Steph's notes here was you had 3 guys sponsor you in the early 90s.
Yep, that'd have been late 80s, early 90s, up in Thief River at the time. I was working at the RV Sports. And the 3 guys, they were into the racing. Actually, one of them, did she give you their names?
One of them was Joey Hallstrom's dad.
Yep,
And then unsure of the other 2.
yep. It was Joey's dad. It was a guy named Harvey Hansen and Wild. Ralph Wild was his name. He had a little construction company, and they loved racing. I'd be like packing up. I'd be at the RV Sports working on the sleds, getting ready to go. And these 3 guys would show up, and we love racing. We just want to help you out. And they each had $100 bill to give me, and that was just, that was great. I mean, to go. We had that time for the 500. We drove to Thunder Bay, Ontario.
Oh, yeah.
A long trip. So I mean, that's good gas money, and it was just, I'm like, couldn't believe it.
Yeah. So then with your first racing there, did you get into racing throughout the mid 80s to all throughout then?
Yep.
Or-
Yep. So I believe the next year I didn't do much racing. I went to tech school up at International Falls, 83, the winter of 83, 84. And then me and another guy would drive down to the Heartland races down in Walker. So we go on weekends from International Falls, drive down to Walker. I shouldn't say weekends. We'd get up and drive down Sunday morning and race and drive back. Yep. And the guy that would go with me and help me, met him at school, was Tim Skyme.
Oh, really?
Yep. So this is Roger Skyme's nephew, and never knew him before or anything. And he grew up in International Falls at high school, or he went to school there and went to small engine school, and that's where I met him. And you know, we still keep in contact, good friends.
So that's what you went to school for, small engines?
Yep, it was a marine and small engines. Went to school there. Out of school, I went to Red Lake Falls to a Yamaha dealership, Honda Yamaha. It's called Thibert Sports Center. You guys are pretty young, so so worked there a few years. Ended up at RV Sports.
Oh yeah, that's why I was wondering on how you got linked up to RV Sports then.
Well, I just was in there one day. I think it was something for racing. I stopped in there. I was actually still working at the Thibert Sports Center, and a guy in there knew me, and he goes, "Hey, we're always looking for somebody here, and would you be willing to come up?" And then their owner got a hold of me, and
Randy,
yep, Randy did. So I went up working for them in about 86, 87, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Worked for them for a number of years. Well, up until the fall of 89. And then Tim Berg from Black Magic. They were just kind of getting going, asked me if I wanted to come over there and help out with parts. That's what I did at the time, was parts. And I was racing. I'd raced at RV Sports.
Yep. Well, that's what, so from working at the Honda Yamaha dealer there, you were on Yamahas probably.
I was on Yamaha then.
So then switching to RV Sports, did you switch?
They were a Yamaha dealer at the time as well. Yep. So I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 years, at least 1 year, maybe 2. I did run Yamaha out of their shop. But then Arctic Cat was getting going better. And they had salvage, and just the cost of racing was way cheaper to switch to an Arctic Cat. And they were growing, and Arctic Cat was. So I switched. Would have been 80, I believe 6 would be my first year on Arctic Cat.
Because then it was pretty cool. I think it was a handful of years ago now that you guys put out a video from Pine Lake, 1987, where it was you and Gerald Deerdahl were out there. I think were you still in the Yamaha at that point? I couldn't tell if you were still in the Yamaha.
I believe I was on. We both ran Cougars.
Oh, sure.
Because he was known for the Cougar, and I was too. And that's really where I got to know Gerald, was because we were in the same class, somewhat close together, in the region, whatever, and that. So
that was pretty cool for us to look back on and watch. That it was it was a oval of. Was there more to it than that? Was there a Lake Le Mans part that Rory Haugen won, or
I believe at that time they ran like the cross country on one day.
Oh, okay.
And then the next day they ran the ovals.
Oh,
something like that.
Yep.
I didn't run the cross country like when Rory won that. I don't know why I didn't. But I remember going for the ovals for sure. Yep. There's 2 cool old videos of you and Gerald racing out there. Yep. And I think Steph said that Sharon recorded those videos. Yep. Back then she recorded them when Gerald raced, and then we raced in the same class. We had the same sled, so I asked her if I could borrow her video, the VCRs. I linked up VCRs and then cut out the stuff that I was involved in with Gerald that had me. I'd pull that out, and that's what I have.
Cool. And then you ended up actually going to some races with Sharon and Gerald?
We were just at the same races.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yep. They were, one was common, I go to Quadna, which is now Park X in Hill City. Because I went there for the bumps, like across country, and Gerald went there because he was running that circuit, the MRP, I think it was called, the Ice Le Mans circuit. So he'd run the full circuit, so it was a points thing for him.
Oh, okay.
I know it wasn't one of his favorite races, but it was kind of a points thing. So they had videos of both of us there. And then the last, I don't know if it was the last race, but later in the year in Thief River, again, it was the same circuit. They were Ice Le Mans on the river. Mm-hmm. So then we'd be there again too. So I've got some video from there.
Cool.
And then that Pine Lake video, I don't know. I haven't looked at it in a while, so
Yeah.
I know there's a few of them.
Have any Gerald stories?
The one that I remember the most is, I think it was in Thief River, but, you know, at the time, he was, for racing, was older. Then he was starting to have trouble seeing, you know, because his eye. And he'd come to me, he goes, Mike, can you tell me what jet this is? So I'd ask him, do you want the truth? Because we are in the same class, I'd tell him. So, but no, I wouldn't. But yeah, that's, yep, he'd come around because he looking for that. Yep. I remember I went testing with him one time. So this would have been the spring of 89 because I don't know how we hooked up. He said to come test. Well, I brought my sled. He didn't say anything time, and him and I think, were the only ones there. But he had a prototype of the 90 EXT Special. He'd been helping Arctic Cat work on that, and he had one there. So that was
we didn't know that he was blind in one eye until Brian told us on his episode podcast that he was blind in one eye, and that's why he liked the oval stuff instead of the Lake Le Mans stuff because he could see it better.
Depth perception.
Yeah, the depth perception.
Oh, yep, that makes sense. So, yep, I knew, you know, he had vision problems. I suppose later in my life or later on, I knew it was, you know, with the single eye. I didn't know if it was his age or what it was, but yeah.
Huh. Yeah, that's cool. We've talked about that a few times of like if in a world where Gerald Durdall and like Jerry Bunke would still be alive today, unlike how the industry would maybe be different or something.
Yeah.
Or just having those two innovate and progress the sport. But so like working at RV, you were still in parts, or were you mechanicking with
So I was in parts department for the several years till I went to Black Magic, and I worked there just one season. We raced, that was a 90 EXT Special year.
Yep.
And then I did go back to RV sports, and I was then I was mechanicking. I was in the shop, doing mechanicking there. And I can't remember how long. I'm not good at these years, but 1 or 2 years. And then actually, I remember this. I was at work, and they paged me, said I had a phone call at work. Well, here it was Don Idy from Arctic Cat. You know, called me out. I wonder if I wanted to, you know, come and talk to him about going to work over there.
Oh, really?
So it's like, I don't know how many people call somebody else's work, but that's, you know, I knew Don. I didn't know him before that, but after I got to know him, it's like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But so, yep, I got a call from him, you know, and talked it over, kind of did an interview, and they hired me, and I went to work for him in engine development at Arctic Cat.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. So then were you with like Mike McCardle then too?
Yep, I was there a little before Mike.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember, a year or so after I was there that he was there. Like Rory Haugen was there. I don't know if you Kim Shervis did. I'm trying to think of some of these guys you might know, like Brent Magner.
Greg Spalding or...
Yep. Greg was just starting a little later. I got to think, no, maybe Mike wasn't there till later on, but Greg Spalding for sure was there. I remember Greg came to work. I don't know where he was before, but he was a Skidoo guy before. And they hired him. I think we were up in Thompson, Manitoba, and this guy shows up, and he has duct tape on his pants. Well, it was duct tape up and down his pants covering up the Skidoo logo. They haven't even got him new Arctic Cat clothing yet while we're out testing.
Oh, funny.
So
John Rowland you would have been after John Rowland.
Yep. Well, John Rowland, they already had Northern Crankshaft going.
Yeah.
I dealt with them at RV Sports or when I raced, you know, and have them, you know, work on crankshafts and that type of stuff. So, yep, I've known John and Neil for, you know, since I worked at RV Sports. So that'd have been the, you know, later 80s.
At RV Sports, were you getting sleds through the race program, or were you under like RV Sports was helping you?
Through the race program.
Oh, you
once I switched to Arctic and they're starting to do race programs. Yep, we get them through Joey. Joey was a race director then.
Okay.
That's kind of when they hired him for race director. I believe that's pretty much when they started. I think he was their first race director back at Artco when Articat came back. So.
Yeah, it's like Joey's told us the story too of when it happened, but now like thinking back to it, we've done so many episodes, it's hard to remember what he told us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do remember when he got into the race director role. He was only like 27 years old, he had said. So that's thinking of that, of being our age and being
the race director.
The race director is kind of funny.
Yep. But to think then the company Artco, so this is probably only 3 or 4 years old. So, it was an Articat name, had been around, but this is a new company, pretty much starting from scratch, more so than they are now.
Yeah. What was it? What did you think of going to that 90 EXT special?
Well, for me, it was a pretty big jump up in horsepower.
Yeah.
Because I ran these SRVs were fan cooled, Cougars were 500 fan cools, and that 530 XT. Well, that was a big jump up in power.
And that's when they started using like Fox shocks and stuff. Right?
Yep, that was the first year. That sled was the first production model with Fox shocks on it.
Is that around the time you started tinkering on that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay. Yep. Even when they came out.
I had that as a question of when did you start working on shocks? When was the thought of like I could make these better?
Well, making better probably in the 90 when they went to the Prowler special the next year. 90, I didn't know that much. We would just take them apart, put them back together. Then they actually started in 91 with that Prowler special through Kirk and Articat. They'd have a few different recommendations for valving, so we would start working on them then. I don't really remember doing much of my own tuning then.
Sure.
Just no experience or whatever, but
whatever Fox kind of recommended to you guys.
And then spacing for sure, because you always go to the first race of the year, you go to Pine Lake and you got to space them down. So I remember that. I used to hate switching back and forth. Well, I don't know who still really likes switching the same sled back and forth, but it's like the time it took you, it seemed like to change the shocks, get them out, space them down, put them back together. It was like, took a long time. Now it's like, give me an hour or two and we'll do it.
Yeah. Back then they weren't as friendly to work on in the belly pan and everything.
I remember my dad saying like the Heartland circuit, you'd go from lake to ditch every other weekend.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
And so constantly working on them week in and week out to switch them back and forth.
Yep. Exactly.
So with working in like the engine department, how close did you work with like the race team, or was it a little bit of crossover?
Oh yes, for sure. Because we were in engine development, so we worked on all the different engine packages. So the 440, because we had to work. I had to work on carb calibrations. We worked on exhausts. So we were definitely involved on that end of it. There, I didn't do any chassis work. We rode them, of course.
Yep.
We tested them, but as far as the input for us was my jetting, carburation.
And then you had to do some work in a freezer, I was told.
Yep. So this is about the same time, but so we had the very first job I had when I got there. I think I started in the springtime, like at the end of the snowmobile season, and the Thundercat was just coming out. So that was you can probably better on the
93,
year,
92
the year with the Prowler chassis, and we needed to mount fuel pumps and route fuel lines for the production. Because I don't know for testing they just had them wherever. So that was my first job was to mount fuel pumps and route fuel lines.
Huh?
They put them on the airbox on them ones.
I believe they were on the chassis.
Yeah, they'd be under the airbox.
Yep. And then that first the first Thundercat had two fuel pumps. It wasn't one big. It was 3-cylinder.
Yeah.
So I think it was two. I don't remember. It had 4 outlets into 3, but it had plenty of fuel. And they weren't small fuel pumps either. They were
big Mikuni ones.
Yep. So did that. But then the freezer part in the summertime, we're always working on different stuff. So we would work on cold starts and they had basically a big freezer, and we could put 3 snowmobiles in there, and you could set the temperature down to whatever, 40 below. It'd go down to 40 below.
Oh my God.
So it'd be middle of summer, and you got a full suit because all that metal is still cold.
Yeah.
And we go in for cold start, pulling them over and trying to start them and all that type of stuff. So I'm doing my work, and my boss, Don Ivey, comes down to me. You got to get them sleds out of there. I'm not done. Well, they're going to put something else in there. Well, because this was, I don't remember when Arctic Cat's year end was, but they were having board meeting and I think stockholders meeting. They raised the temperature up and had to put lobsters in there. And they put a lock on it, of course. So I got kicked out of it for live lobsters.
So just go in there 40 below and just start pulling over sleds.
Yep, we had 2. I remember I had the Thundercats. I think we had some EFIs because EFIs were starting to be developed at that time.
Wildcat 700 would have been the first ones, I'm guessing.
Yeah, like
Yep,
92.
they were working on that when I got there. Rory Haugen was working on that. Start them, crank on them and see if they do start and let them idle, and had to have exhaust fans, because too much exhaust messes up your calibration. I haven't been there a long time. I like to see what they have now because it was what we had, but it was just a small room, and you start up a snowmobile in a small room, you know how smoky it gets.
Especially the older ones.
Instantly it gets filled with smoke. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Well, then back out into the heat.
Boy, that is funny. Stop your testing. We got these lobsters.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Pile of lobsters.
Where the priorities are.
Yep.
So then, like with testing and racing, was that helping you with your racing? Like doing all the motor work and everything, like your racing had just substantially starting getting progress more and more.
Yep, absolutely. Really just the day-to-day work and tuning and know how to read the engines for carburation, for carb cal and all that. Helped a lot. The one story I remember the most, was the first year of the ZR440, 93. Then they had the Ironman race up in Thief River. And it was, forecast was for cold weather. I woke up Saturday morning, looked, it's like 30 below. Like,
perfect.
Perfect. And went to CAT. I was able to race out of the back door of engineering. There's a few guys that did. Took it out for a run and checked the plugs. It's 30 below, and we put on what we thought we did. So I was able to check my plugs, read it. No, we can go down, So I think everybody else was jetting up or whatever thing, and I was able to jet down and had a good day that day. I think after the first day, I was I was in second or third place. Next morning, can't be colder than that. Oh yeah, 33 below. So,
yeah, those are the days that make you second guess it. Like, this again.
Yep.
Yeah. Why am I here?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this to myself?
In '93, the gear probably wasn't up to the standard of what we even have nowadays.
No, but he didn't. It was the best, so you didn't know any better.
Where now it's like, I hope my heated gloves work the whole time. And
you got an old leather jacket up there. That's just plain leather. That's the gear back in the day.
Well, way back, like mid 80s, early 80s, you saw a lot of guys wore like these Bates leathers were a big thing. And that was kind of the thing everybody wore. Well, I couldn't afford a jacket like that. So you see the Yamaha logo at the bottom.
Yeah.
I actually located the leather, and I had a gal that she made jackets and stuff, but she ripped the Yamaha jacket, the outer lining off, and she sewed it back together with the leather on.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Number, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's
Custom leathers.
that's custom leather.
That's awesome. Yep, that is awesome.
Was there any meaning to the number 320?
Well, the very first time I went to race at Quad in the Mountain, I think that's the number they gave me.
Oh, okay.
That's all. I ran that for many years up until ran the ISOC. When ISOC came, and then it was more of a pro circuit, and we had to have 2 digits, and I can't tell you how I ended up with 36, but
just picked a number.
Yeah.
I just picked a number.
Yep.
The number part isn't that big of a deal to me, or it is, but it isn't kind of thing. So, like there's a couple of years when I was at Arctic Cat, I raced a mini sprint, or now they call them lightning sprints.
Yep.
So I can't remember if I had decals or paint, but we're like, what number they're going to, because it's on a wing. Oh, we'll go with 7, because number 1 isn't supposed to be lucky car racing. So 7's the next easiest number to make. So that was why. That was it.
Yeah, I think that's with my 56. I think my dad just had stickers of a 5 and a 6 and just put them on the sled, and then being Gerald's number, I thought it was pretty cool though to keep running 56.
You got the right number for your for you and your location.
Yeah. So then how long did you work at Arctic Cat there for then? Were you just in engine development the whole time, or did you change positions in Arctic Cat?
Yep, I was in engine development the whole time. Little ways through there, I made a lateral move. I moved from snowmobiles over to watercraft.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So like with the Tiger Sharks?
With Tiger Sharks. Yeah. Yep. And at the time, it was one of the things, watch out what you wish for, because they were starting to develop and work on the 900 engine, the Thundercat engine. They're putting in a boat, in a Tiger Shark. And snowmobile guys, we go see them doing it, and I'm like, that'd be kind of cool to drive. Well, then they came and said they need somebody to do carb cal on those things.
I'm sick of the winter. I'm ready.
I took it. Yep.
I'm ready to go to the lake.
Yep. So I took that pretty soon. Yep. I'm working on the 900 in the boat, in the Tiger Shark. So I did that maybe a couple of years. And then that's when I decided I always wanted to have my own business, my own shop. So got things lined up and, left there and started my own business.
Oh, really? Oh, It was right out of Arctic Cat then?
Yep.
Yep. You told us at the Fossen swap meet the couple weeks ago that our 01 ZRT that we have, the 600, that you guys were testing that against the ZR 700s.
Yep.
Which I thought was kind of cool. Kind of a unique test.
So what was a 96? Was that the first year of the ZRT?
Yep, 95.
95. And that was everybody, we'd have goals of what each sled had to perform. And they were going to be coming with this ZRT 600, and they're going to be eliminating that, the ZR 700, that engine, because it had been around a few years. And the goal was for the performance to be better than that 700. So the 600 triple had to perform better than the 700 twin. And that would have been a non-power valve engine at that time.
Yep. Yeah, so that's what Kyle's racing, and then mine's a power valve model.
Yep. And that's, they were realistic goals. At first, it seemed like you can't do it.
Yeah.
But you work on them, get them better, and
How was it calibrating up going from 2 cylinders to 3 cylinders? Now you got 3 carbs to mess with, and
then the ZRT, 3 carbs and 3 pipes.
Yeah.
Because the pipes, they're not the same.
Yeah.
And you can put a different set of pipes on, and it works different, and it's a struggle. It's way different than now with all the data acquisition and that type of stuff. We'd occasionally use exhaust gas temp gauges, but a lot of it was just like reading plugs, make runs. And it's not just wide open, because you got to do trail speeds. We might be on lake testing, but you had to just drive around at the trail speed and, see what they would do. But it's, a lot of seat of the pants testing.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat. Both those engines kind of phased out at the same time. Like 2000, I think, was the last year of the 700, and then 02 was the last year of the triple.
Yeah.
So that's kind of neat that they were comparing them two, but then kept them along until they both phased out.
And if it wouldn't have been, they thought about the 1100 triple over the F7 too, that they had that motor in a idea too.
Yeah.
Bring the triples back, Kyle.
Yeah.
That's what people say. Fuel injected triple. I don't know how you'd get them pipes in there on a new sled though, on a catalyst.
Oh yeah.
Not a triple. Triple.
No.
You run them out the hood.
Yeah.
So okay. So you went right from Arctic Cat to Carver Performance.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
did you start, like the first building was there in St. Hilaire?
Actually, I started in my garage.
Oh, really?
I lived about 2 miles north of St. Hilaire.
Oh.
It's about 4 miles south of Articat and
Yep.
Thief River. Just went on my own, working on whatever, ATVs and snowmobiles. What I did then is in the wintertime or the fall, guys that got race sleds, I would take them and go through them and set them up, get them ready for Pine Lake.
Oh, okay.
So I was fortunate enough, I don't know if I knew what I was doing or not. I always seemed to have fast sleds on the ice. So some guys came to me wondering if I would go through their sleds, get them set up for Pine Lake. So we did a few of them. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think,
to have a brand new sled and just set it up right from brand new. Yeah.
Yep. Have them, they'd bring them to us in the crates, and I had workbenches set up, and pretty soon there'd be a strip down. We do 2 or 3 at a time.
Really? Oh,
Yep,
wow.
there'd
Cool.
be stripped down tunnel and
Like who were some of the guys that were having you do that?
one guy, remember Rick Stokey. He was a dealer rep at the time, and he's from Plummer. I forget the other guy's name that we did a couple of years for him.
So like starting out, you weren't doing just shocks. You were kind of doing a lot of.
I wasn't doing shocks. I did some shocks. I'm trying to think here. I was also, I'm way back. I've always helped out and been involved with like the Christians, especially when I started on my own. Little dirt bikes, put pipes on them for Dwight would come and we get something for Logan.
Yeah.
And then Carl was racing himself cross country in that. Helped them out with some shock stuff. So I always did some stuff there. And then there again, the year 94. No, yeah, I'm way off. 97 in that area when I first or second year after I was on my own, they had the Articat Race School.
Yep.
And I guess I didn't realize it. Somebody at Fox had been doing race support through Black Magic before, and they had a guy, an employee of Fox, that'd come and do it.
Yeah.
And I'd heard he had quit. I think it was winters and, California, whatever. So I'd heard that, and Fox was going to be at the race school. And I asked somebody to introduce whoever was there, and he introduced me to the guy. I remember his name was Doug Brewer, and told him I, raced, have worked on shocks, and understand you guys might be looking for somebody, and worked out. I just approached him and asked him and gave him my information, and I don't remember if they called me or whatever, but we got in contact, not long after the race school, and pretty soon they're flying me out to California and getting a trailer set up and pick up and coming back, and because the race school would have been at that time was usually around deer hunting season.
Yeah.
And then Duluth would have been coming up 2 or 3 weeks later.
Yeah, right.
So we had to go get set up. They had a trailer and stuff. I'd bring it back to go to Duluth.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Oh, so the Fox thing was kind of, I thought maybe you just worked for Fox, but you were doing it still while you had your own.
I was like a contractor for them.
Oh,
I was
okay.
still, they hired my business to run and do the race support. It was their truck trailer and all the parts and everything. Because at that time, and I think they still pretty much do it, it was a free service. You bring your shocks to the trailer, wrecked, I don't care. We'll fix it up.
Huh.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yep. Then, and that's really where, once we started doing that, and you get into that, 98, 99, and you went to Duluth, there was thousands of sleds there. You guys remember, and just the sheer number of shocks that we would do. Then Articat, and we would do stuff for Polaris too, but they'd have different specs for, because they probably had factory guys out testing them the week before the race.
Yeah.
So the regular guys didn't have it, so they'd give us the specs, let the racers know, go to the trailer, they'll put this in for you, and it would just be, all day, into the night. And at that time, the shocks were just non-reservoir, just IFP shocks, so they were really simple to work on. But you'd burn through them, and just
have to have 100 gallons of oil with
Yeah,
you. And
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, oil. And so then start reading the specs and seeing what they're doing, and that's
yeah.
just the sheer volume of shocks and changing them. That's really where I learned, how to do the valving, kind of on the ground floor. I'd worked on them basically from early on, but then when this came about and changing stuff, that's really where.
How was it going to California, and did they teach you how to do their certain spec and we want you to do it this way and that way, or?
I think we went through the basics. I think they want to know if they were getting somebody that kind of knew what they were doing. But I don't remember anything too difficult.
Oh,
and like I said, at that time when I started, it was just like the IFP shocks and on reservoirs, but moved up. So I would go out there in the fall, pick up the equipment, the truck and trailer, and bring it back here. They'd ship me parts or whatever we needed, and go through the season, the schedule. That time we were doing just the snowcross circuit. We rarely went to a cross country circuit. It was because snowcross is getting to be the big thing. End of the season, it was a nice little circuit. You go to West Yellowstone. That used to be the last snowcross there, and then usually the week after was Jackson Hole.
Oh, sure.
So we take the trailer there, and then some guys from Fox usually would come out for that because it's closer, and go to Jackson Hole, and then from there take it back to them. At that time, they were in San Jose.
Oh, wow.
So take it back there, and first, several years, get back, and they'd say, hey, Bob Fox wants to meet. So the owner, yeah. And little meeting room, wondering how the season went and all that stuff. And the number one thing he asked, he wanted to know what people thought of his product, if they liked it.
Yeah.
He didn't ask if there's really any issues or anything. He just wanted to know that people liked his product, and that they were being taken care of.
Yeah.
So that was, So once a year, 3-4 years at the end of the season, meet up with him. So that was
that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
How Fox found a grassroots guy working out of his garage.
Yeah.
And hey, let's get this guy on and just see how it works.
Yep.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's kind of how they started too, because he started making his own shocks for motocross. And people wanted his stuff, and I think if you ask them, the snowmobile industry, I think it's really what got them guys going as far as production numbers and numbers of shocks. Because when Cat got them going, and then Polaris got Fox shocks, because I think Arctic Cat did some help with Fox on getting some equipment and, to get them be able to produce enough shocks.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember, again, Joey, he told us the number 2 on, they had to buy a certain amount of shocks from them to get them for that price point, and they were a lot more expensive than the normal just gas shocks they were using. But no, it worked out for them in the long run.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
For sure.
Well, were you the only guy going to Duluth then?
I have somebody with me.
Oh, you did have somebody with you.
The first trailer they had was small. I mean, it was probably a 20 or 25 foot trailer, and which sometimes it wasn't so bad because then you couldn't get so many guys standing around in there, it'd fill up. So, but small trailer, pulled it all over the country, because that time snowcross, we went to, what are some places in New York back in those days? I can forget some names.
Rock Maple Racing would have been the circuit, and then the town that I lived close to was Scaticoke would have been. There was a race there, and then Utica, somewhere around Utica area.
Yeah, so we were out there.
What I asked the Carbide podcast guy, Spencer, I asked him if he had any questions for you, and he said ask him about Michael Dawes. That he was how Carver was the first supported Fox trailer, and just how he came from Arctic Cat, and what you remembered of.
Yep, I remember Michael for sure. I watched or listened to that podcast with Michael, because when I heard he was on there, I wanted to hear. And I suppose he was the one that he was the head of the marketing department. At that time, they were fairly small, so he did a little of everything.
Yeah,
and would have basically hired me and helped out. He'd be the one to come to races,
Oh, really?
If somebody from Fox came, he would come, checking things out, and he was Bob Fox's right hand man. Had kind of the same attitude. You want to know how Fox was doing.
Yep.
The guys were liking their product and that. So yeah, Michael was I got along with him good, and he was a kind of a go and a rah kind of guy, and, so which it brought Fox a long way.
Yeah. The early stories of how they started to like the huge corporation they are now is unreal.
Yeah.
Just how they're on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. Now they're just their production. They're in all these trucks, all the brands.
Yep.
Toyota, Ford, Chevy, all have them on production.
Yeah.
And these side by sides.
Oh yeah.
Just the size of these shocks are now just unreal. Yep.
Yeah, you take an early 80s trophy truck, and it's probably the same size shock that's on just a normal side-by-side right now.
Yep,
Right.
exactly. Yep.
So you're running the Fox trailer. How long did that go for?
Early 2000s. I can't remember exactly the year, 02, 03, something like that. And they went a little different direction as far as what was involved with the position I had. That's when they hired Rick Strobel
Oh, okay.
from Brainerd down there, and they ended up starting their facility that's now in Baxter.
Yep.
So they were moving to R&D facility down there, and with my shop up there, they never really talked to me about it, but they just went with him, and I don't know if they had picked out that area before.
Oh, like a central location, kind of.
Yep, that was it. But that's like as far as me being with the race support directly with Fox. That's when it switched over.
Oh, okay. Were you still racing at that time from when you
No,
were done with Arctic
I
Cat?
actually, let's see. I raced 93 ZR 440, I believe 94. Yeah. Then the 94 season, and I was working at Arctic Cat, I crashed at the Albertville race and separated my shoulder. And so I didn't finish that season. And I was working at Arctic Cat. I was pretty much myself and not a lot of sponsors, and that was kind of the end there. And then when I went to Watercraft, and I was gone during the winter time. So like the 94 season was one of the last I raced like extensively up until, Steph got me involved again.
2018, 19.
18, 17.
I'm good.
Yeah. She had talked to Dwight Christian saying that, asked him if he'd get me a sled and race, and he did. And so got me back into it. And then up until 2 years ago.
Where were you going for the watercraft side of stuff in the winters? Where were they sending you?
Mostly we tested in Daytona Beach.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
I'd probably quit racing for that
Yep. Yep. That was, they had a facility down there that they rented with, we did R&D out of it. Everything ran out of there. Field test was there. Engineers, we go down there. Up here, summertime on the river for the most part. Sometimes go to Maple Lake. And this was before, once these watercraft got more and more popular, then, at least in Minnesota, they started cracking down on some of them as far as speed and hours and all that type of stuff. Like, they came with a law about no wake within so many feet of the shore or something like that.
Oh, sure.
Which basically effectively outlawed personal watercraft being able to ride on the river in Thief River. We would go down there, like a short test. I mean, we wouldn't go up and down a lot.
Yeah.
But if we needed to test something quickly, we could go down there and run up and down the river and come off. But that, when they come up with some of these no wake laws, it just, that changed stuff too. So.
That would be a fun race to bring back as a Thief River race.
Yeah.
Oh, the river race?
Yep.
That would be a blast.
Yeah. Like from the north of Gully there.
Yeah.
Get on right there and then go all the way into Thief River.
Yeah.
Yep. They've had all different they've started there. Used to be a small race, like a Smiley Bridge race, they call it.
Yeah.
Get on there and race in. And yep. So
My dad still has trophies from that race, I think, back in the day. The Smiley.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a low snow condition race from there to Thief River. That'd be pretty
How
fun.
freaking fun.
A pretty
would that
fun
be?
timed event.
Yeah.
yep.
Because then put everybody in like lake setup. So then you're not going to jump up on the side of the side of the bank and cut the track or anything. Because you're going to want to save your ice stuff.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
So then, it wasn't a conflict of interest or anything that they were Fox when you were trying to do your own performance stuff up here and Fox doing their own thing?
No, not at all, because the exposure from the racers,
Sure.
really, that's what grew my business into what it is with the consumers.
Yeah.
Because the consumers were seeing it. We were doing some advertising and stuff, but because the production sleds were starting to get more Fox shocks on, so consumers needed help with valving and repair work and everything too.
And I suppose, were you like developing relationships with these racers too at the races to where when they got wind of Fox and you kind of going your own ways, were they like, oh, Mike, I still want you to do my stuff? Kind of deal?
Somewhat. Problem is, like, the race support through Fox was no cost to the racers.
Oh, sure.
So a lot of them followed that. I had a few guys that we helped out.
Yeah.
That always did.
This is right around that time you started seeing your logo on like Corey Davidson's stuff.
Right. Yep, exactly. And then I think timing worked out for his age. Like, he's being more successful in that. And then we were up being close, in St. Hilaire and Thief River. And
he's right there.
Help him out a few times and have some success too. That's, that helps a lot too.
Yeah. So then you're back to your shop there. So then you probably were in the shop in St. Hilaire there at that time?
Yep. I bought the shop from, his name was Elliot Baker. He passed away and had, unfortunately, and bought his building from him. It was pretty new. So that was 2000.
Oh, really?
I moved into there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember going up there as a little kid and like looking at all the pictures on the walls and everything and all the cool just Fox parts. And
weren't we just talking about there was a 50 track there or dirt bike track in St. Hilaire, wasn't there?
I had a track myself at my house, like where the property where I started my business. I had a motocross track there. I was doing more moto then too, and I didn't race the snowmobiles. I got into moto.
Yeah, that's what I had that written down. That you were. I remember as a kid, and then even looking back on some of my trophies, they all say like sponsored by Carver Performance.
Yep.
On a lot of the trophies.
Circuit. I actually somewhere in there too. I bought the circuit for a couple of years.
Was that
running that?
Was that North Star or was that Fans or was that?
It was Fans. So
Okay.
when I had it, I bought it from Jerry Erickson.
Yep.
And it was Fans, and I kept the name Fans.
I had that written down too. If it was you and Jerry together or
Nope, Jerry was running it, and I bought it from him.
Oh, okay.
What made you want to buy it?
Jerry kind of wanted to get out of it. You know how it is with race circuits; nobody does it right.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, and I'd known Jerry for years. He was a good friend of mine.
Yep.
And
Super nice guy.
Yep. And I told him I'd be interested in it, and we worked out a deal to keep it running. So I ran it for a couple of years, and gained a ton of respect for race promoters.
I bet.
I thought I did before because I had helped sponsor them and that, but once you own the circuit and do that stuff, and you have nobody unless they do it themselves. You don't have an idea what the promoters and
So that was early 2000s to 05 or
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we raced, like you said, you had that track that we raced at your place there maybe once or twice.
Once or twice. Yeah.
I think Jonathan Eaton, I think, listens to this, and I remember as a kid, I think Jonathan broke his arm or broke his leg like right away in practice that morning at that track, and it was a new track to be at, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it wasn't tried to make it safe. We thought, but and it wasn't that.
It was. I don't remember it being dangerous by any means.
No, not at all.
anything.
We tried making it technical.
Yeah.
There was some stuff we installed that
There was a really fun downhill. I remember that. Like it was a long flyway almost.
Yep.
And then I think where Jonathan crashed, maybe it was like some rollers down in the bottom. And
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, like the early days of dirt bike racing around here where we had tracks I remember racing in Plummer, and Goodridge had a track.
Grigla had a track.
Yeah, Grigla.
Yep.
And to go up to Greenbush, and the casino track was maybe after you were out of it.
I raced at the casino track. I don't think I put one on there, but I know I raced there. Used to have one like over here in Erskine at a bar.
The Duffer's Bar.
Had
that
a
was,
track.
That was a really fun track.
And then the fair races. We'd race Thief River Fair. Well, now Johnny's back at the Bagley Fair, the Clearwater County Fair.
They did the Bemidji Fair this year,
He
too.
did that. Trying to think of what else. Race at Warren at the fair, Roseau at the fair.
Yep. Monoman.
Yes. Yep. Monoman. Yep.
Yep. That was my childhood there of doing all those races. My dad never we never went out to Larimore. We never went out. That one was always on the schedule. And my dad working on the road, he never wanted to drive on a Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Larimore was a fun track.
Really?
Big hill you went up and over and a lot of elevation change. Yep. That was a good track.
I always give Dad hell because I missed out on 250 championships not going to that race. It was the points I lost. So I got 2 really nice big second place trophies.
Yeah.
So that was a fun time period there. So then when you sold it, did you sell it to Johnny then? Or
Nope. I sold it to.
Or no, there was people in between.
Up in Roseau. I forget his name. They raced four-wheelers.
Yep.
ATV.
And then I believe Johnny bought it from them.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, the name's drawing a blank right now.
Yep. It is.
So when did was that kind of your full-time gig then, where you're doing the performance shop and
I've
the
always
race
had the
circuit?
shop. Yeah, ever since I started the shop, that's been my full-time regular thing. The Fox Shock thing was along with the business.
Oh, I suppose.
Like I said, they hired
Yep.
like Carver Performance and hired me to go do that. I suppose then I didn't have the Fox Shock thing anymore, and I don't know. I don't seem to want to sit still. And tried the motocross circuit and did that a couple of years, but just so much work to have both of the business and both businesses more or less.
Yeah. What about Brooks? Was Brooks started? Brooks was like 03, 04.
Yes, we raced at Brooks. I can't remember who owned the track. But yes,
That was. I think I have had a memory from a few years ago. I found some old pictures of like 03 or 04 on a KTM 50 up there, and that the same finish line jump is pretty much the same now as it was 20 years ago.
Big same pile of dirt. Yep. Yep.
So then, when did the Yam? I don't want to skip anything on your timeline here, but are we going in the right order here, or when did the Yamaha stuff come about?
Yep. So the Yamaha thing actually would have came along not after I had the motocross series.
Oh, okay.
Because it would have been in 06, probably when we started out, because of like the 07 model. If I'm thinking right, that had been summer of 06 is when I got involved with that.
Did you pursue that, or did they reach out to you? Or
I tell people I blame that on Jesse Strigg. So he called me. Jesse called me whenever interested in working with the team, said, hey, we're going to start up a snowcross team. I knew they've been working on some stuff.
Yep.
But they said they're going, full time, going big time, and we're looking for people, and wondering if I was interested. So told them I was, and, accepted that position.
As a race director, right?
Yep. I was, my title was it Snowcross R&D coordinator?
Oh.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
It was a lot of logistics work, lining up parts, getting parts coming for the sleds. We had to line up crews, mechanics, well, they had racers. I'm trying to think when, because that first year was Robbie, and I cannot remember if they had him hired before or after I want to say they already kind of had him set up before.
There were some Japanese guys going.
Yeah,
Yuji.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yuji.
just looked at some results. And he was in there quite a bit.
Yep, Yuji was with Robbie the first year.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had one note here of having to overnight a sled from Japan.
Yeah. I don't, and to be honest, I don't recall the reason for it. But at that time, the first year, we did a lot of work. Jesse was friends with, I don't know if you guys know who Daryl Rath from Rath Racing.
Oh, they do a lot of quad stuff.
Yep, a lot of quad stuff.
Yeah,
They're in Hutchinson, Minnesota. And he had just built a brand new, beautiful shop and had space for us to work down there. We were close to the cities. I got to think, because the first year, well, we move? The first year we were with Boss Racing.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Well, they were up in Winnipeg, and we built sleds down there. But we did some stuff up in Winnipeg, but the border crossing got to be so much. That's you see a lot. All the teams now are in the States because of crossing. But so anyway, we were in Daryl Rath's shop down there, and we're trying to basically build these sleds out of pieces. They ship us parts and all that, and then they had one assembled, like ready. Like I said, I can't remember if it was a race coming up. They said we'll get it to you. So they had it crated in a regular snowmobile crate, shipped it. It left Japan, like the day before, was in Minneapolis like the next morning, and then a truck brought it up to our shop. We were in Hutchinson, we had it by the afternoon the next day. God. So.
And would that have been, what about the timeline of so they had these Apex looking like front end ones?
That was early on, yes.
Yeah, so that would have been like 06, 07, like 06 probably, because then this was the Nitro prototyped was like 07.
Would that have been the ones with like the watercraft engine in them? 2-stroke?
Nope, that was earlier. Yeah. That had been in the early 2000s, late 90s with the trailing arm suspension.
Yeah.
And then, like the SX chassis and stuff. But yeah, those were hand built, and then like you said, the watercraft engines, and those are some trick machines too.
Yeah.
Yeah, really I just sent you and Vince a picture of a Yamaha article, and they were talking about them with like Greg Marrier and that whole crew. And
I just seen a picture that Yugi raced at the Sioux. Yugi raced at the Sioux, and I think
trying to think if he did, I wasn't involved. It might have been later on.
Okay, but thought that was pretty neat. Yeah.
I can't get it to load.
So, yeah, it was I'm going to cheat. 07.
There you go.
So the 07 model. So that plaque is from we in Duluth that year, and this is Yamaha corporate stuff. They hadn't introduced this model yet. The Nitro, FX Nitro. The ones you said that looked like an Apex kind of thing, they called that a Nitro, but it was a different front end.
Yeah.
And they hadn't introduced this yet from the dealer shows, so they built 2 sleds, just hand built with, tubes and all this stuff, and it looked completely different, but they would not introduce this chassis any sooner, so we had to race that one at Duluth.
Yeah.
Now it was a struggle. And then they introduced it late December, early January, and then we raced at Brainerd. Once they introduced it, then we could unveil it.
Yeah.
And then Robbie won that first race with it. That was pretty unbelievable.
Yeah.
And just kept working all year long.
Yeah. What was the budget like? I mean,
I don't even know.
Really?
Yep. It was huge. I'll say that. Like talk about overnighting sleds, and at that time titanium was legal.
Yeah.
I mean, we would order just packages of titanium, titanium springs.
Yeah.
So they would do a lot of things like that. The engines, had work done to them. There could have been more. We thought Yamaha's pretty conservative about that. We actually ran pump gas all the time.
Really?
Yep. So the first year we were buying gas, like at a right out of a pump, like wherever town you're in.
Yep.
And we had some problems with inconsistency, so we ended up buying dirt bikes. There's all different kinds of. So we ended up buying barrel fuel at 97, 98 octane. So we had the same thing, but it was low octane.
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
I would have figured these things would have been on some 110,
Yeah.
It'd have been nice. So the first year of it, we were at X Games and didn't have very good results at all. It was, because we ran the same engine package as we did, at X Games at Elevation as we did the regular ones. And, it wasn't good. So the next year, we told them we needed more power for out there. So they built an engine, 2 engines for high altitude for X Games. With strict instructions, we couldn't run them at low elevation.
Yeah.
And it was still pumped gas
Really?
out there at the elevation. But I remember we started it, and that thing sounded good. I mean, it sat there and just rumbled. It sounded like a little V8. So we knew we had something. And then myself and another guy, we went out to Cook City to break it in, do some clutching and stuff before the season, but we were still running pump gas out there. And that year we got 4th place at X Games, missing a podium by, like, Tucker was gone. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th were like nose to tail. It could have went either way, but so the performance was there. And we tried talking them into letting us take that engine, put some more octane down here, and run it, but they were so concerned they did not want any engine failures whatsoever, because they're pushing the 4-stroke performance and everything. So I can see it, but as racers, it's like,
True.
Yeah.
Could have been.
And what's kind of funny is because then if you look at the 4-stroke era of dirt bikes at that time, that they were having, and all the brands were having engine failures very common in that period of time too. They were pushing them very hard.
Yep.
So then they were trying to take a much more stepped back approach on the snowmobile.
I started racing on Yamahas, and then when this came up, I took the opportunity, and I kind of have a soft spot in my heart for Yamaha, no question.
Yeah.
And I feel that they've got some of the better engines as far as durability. They might not have the power of some of the other, like, dirt bikes and stuff like that, but you can buy one as a consumer, and you can be able to run that for years and not have a problem.
Yeah.
That's what Vince says.
Yeah.
Should try it sometime.
Yeah. Get yourself a Blue Crew, Kyle.
Yeah. A YZ 250 would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yes, it would.
But so I wrote down here all the Yamaha stories, just because it's just, I don't know, it's just such a cool time period, and it's just kind of short-lived.
Yeah.
But just like, I mean, you even still have a skid frame that you were trying to sell at the
Well,
festival.
it's just the rails. They were like production rails, but it still had some titanium on it and that. I think I should be able to tell this now, but of course, that time, like, tracks and suspensions was just, I mean, we were, at that time it was 121 was the main length. I think Cat was starting to use some longer tracks, and we tested 128s and that type of stuff, but rails were an issue. For snowcross, try rail extensions. You'd break them and all that. And we tried longer suspensions with tipped up rails in the back.
Yep.
So we came with a setup that we thought we'd like, but the durability wasn't there. And, well, like my boss, Greg Marrier, he was my boss. He goes, well, we'll get you rails. Pretty soon you show up, 2 billet rails. And I never even had an idea how much it cost. He says, I'm not going to tell you. You don't need to know.
Just don't break them.
No, you won't break them. They
were tipped up in the rear.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. 100% custom rails. For I think it was a 128, 129, somewhere in that range, and slightly tipped up in the back. And
Where would those have ended up?
Yeah, are those for sale right now?
Where are those at in the snowmobile world?
I had them at one time.
Oh, really?
But I'm not sure where they ended up. I really don't know.
So what about?
He knows it's a secret.
No, I
Probably sitting in some.
I could make a phone call or two and maybe find out who had them, or I don't know.
So with this sled we have sitting here behind us, what's the story on this one? Is this a original or is it?
Well, yeah, it's an original, like 07.
Yep.
We didn't have much for sleds or parts. Another story, like in 07 when we had Robbie, we didn't even have a sled, like a practice sled.
Oh, really?
Him and Yuji had to share one skidoo, the old Rev chassis,
Yeah.
skidoo, and shared that thing, and that poor sled just got beat to pulp. But the guy, the racers, but unfortunately had to practice on that sled.
Yeah.
And couldn't practice on a 4-stroke. The weight was so much different.
Yeah.
And
Really?
we just could never get enough parts to have more than 2 like running race sleds.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was such a,
So they just show up on race day on a different sled.
well, I guarantee you the sled from week to week was not,
Yeah.
so much was changing, then fixing and stuff. They're hardly ever the same sled like this. I'm sure that this sled, there's pieces of it somewhere on it that were on Robbie's winning, Brainerd winning sled.
Yeah.
Which ones are, I don't know, but everything got changed from pieces to pieces. I don't know if they can see it. The first year we ran Olin shocks. Mm-hmm. And that's one way to tell, the first year the snowcross Olins, and they switched to Fox.
Oh, okay.
And the big reason was support.
Yeah.
Fox was willing to support us and supply us with shocks.
Was there a reason it was Olin's the first year? Is that they were?
Yamaha and Olins have always had a good
Yeah, I
relationship.
suppose thinking back to the old SRX days, they
Yep.
had Olin's on those.
Yep. But what happened is I ended up doing not a lot. I did all the work on the shocks and this as well as my other duties with the team, and it was a lot. So that took pressure off me, and I knew Fox was a good product as well. So went with Fox. Had Fox from there on. I don't know what those stories. They had halfway through the first season, they came with a whole new injection system. So they're fuel injected, but then, and it helped with power. They came with a second injection system that was on the airbox.
Oh, really? Oh, like they're doing that to some dirt bikes.
Yeah, like
now.
the dirt bikes now.
Yep. So we would have had something like that in 2007.
Wow.
So it had 3 injectors up in the airbox. So after whatever half throttle, or they could set it, of course, but at wide open throttle, it's injecting more fuel into the airbox to be directly right into the bells of the throttle bodies.
Well, theirs is similar. They got 2 injectors on your throttle bodies, but then also 2 injectors on the cylinders now. So there's 4 injectors total.
Per cylinder.
Or 4 total, so 2 per cylinder.
2 per cylinder.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, those are the stories, Mike, that that just aren't out there.
You'd never heard of that before.
No, I doubt people have ever heard of that.
Yep. And the drivers knew right away, they could feel the difference. It was a noticeable power gain from that.
Wow.
Huh? On pump gas.
Yeah.
On pump gas.
I need a barrel of 87 octane.
Yep. Let's see.
Was Brian Strasswell around at this time, or was he in that later run of when
He was later on.
Okay. What about Dave?
Dave Rickloff.
Yeah,
Rickloff. Dave was around.
Yep.
He worked a lot with the guys at in Wisconsin.
With Greg Powers or Rob Powers.
Rob worked at the headquarters down in I'm bad at these towns. So the Yamaha headquarters was
Isn't it by Wassa, or isn't it around that area?
it was on the Lake East. Is where the corporate headquarters were.
Yeah.
But then they had an R&D center
oh,
is not far from Eagle River. They actually used to be the old Mercury test facility out in the North Woods. I mean, it is.
I remember Zach telling us about it was close to him in Eagle River.
Yep, it is. Mercury had bought it for their snowmobile division, and actually I didn't see it, but there's a replica of the Eagle River track on the facility because that's how big oval racing is.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Was at the time. So there's a full size replica of Eagle River racetrack there. But they had trails, Yamaha. That's where they did all their R&D and even field testing. And there's enough acreage there and trails that they maintained for themselves. And would run that.
What did you think about the new exhaust dumping out the back?
That was nice.
Yeah, you like that?
It's nice and straight.
Yep.
You know, and it was pretty simple to get on and off and work on.
Yeah. Doesn't take no room up in the.
No, and it's good power, of course, the straight exhaust. Yeah. Yep, that worked good. Of course, that was all titanium exhaust.
I always thought that was so cool when I saw that. Like,
And
wow, look at that. It's dumping right out the back.
Yep.
That's so cool.
And the sound of them.
Yeah,
Sounded, you know.
Yep. I love the 4-stroke sound and the low rumble, the just the throaty power that you hear from it. Yeah, I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, no, these sleds were pretty iconic in the day when they first came out. It was something just unreal.
Even in like 2011, you know, when the factory guys would show up to Pine Lake and they'd have all the gear and everything.
Yep.
The Yamaha gear was always the sharpest.
Yeah, it was 2011, 2012 when they made their resurgence again. Were you asked to be on that at all, Mike, when they came back there? Or?
No, not that I can recall. Brian was involved. Brian Strastel was involved then. That's when they started. Let's see. I know when Brian was involved was when they started working with Artie Cat on the running like the Cat chassis stuff.
Yep.
That'd have been 12, 13.
Yeah, it was Ergman and Lindbaum.
Yep.
And then that next year, then it was Ergman and Ree and Lindbaum again. And then that next year, then they went to the Viper.
Yep.
So it was I thought those Yamahas at that era again were so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
There was one story I remember that they had a motor in one of their open sleds that was supposedly a $40,000 motor, is what was heard in the pits.
Yeah, I don't know about money wise, but I know like they did a lot of development for like Sioux engines.
Yep.
And that's probably what it was. You know.
Yeah, because Ree and Ross had a really good showing in the 2013 Sioux and on that nitro, and then that was the Viper came out and the Viper 7000. Everybody made a really big push to run those in the 2014 Sioux, but then they just weren't up to snuff of how good that nitro was for when Ree was on it.
Yeah. Yep.
And Yamaha blue is just the nicest blue out there. It's got to be the nicest blue.
Yep. It stands out. You know what it is. Yep.
What about the front end geometry? Because when they came back in 2012 or 2013, they had all different front ends.
So that's something Brian came up with. Yep.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
A way to extend the wheelbase more or less. He brought the mounting points of the arms forward.
Yep.
You know, I know they tried longer tracks and different things to help stabilize the sled, and that was one way they did. And you know, that worked pretty good.
Yeah. I remember they really liked those front ends, and then they did have 128s on him as well too. But no, I liked my nitro. I didn't have any complaints about it. It was fun. It was fun to ride. It just didn't. I like the Procross on the lake better. Setup to setup, I enjoy the Procross a little bit better, but.
I liked your nitro too. It was all black, looked like something Batman would ride. Just big black tank of a snowmobile. It was so cool.
I remember that one. Yep.
So then when so the Yamaha thing kind of comes and goes, Mike, then is it just Carver Performance kind of from then on out, it seems like? Or?
Yep. Like I said, pretty much it's been Carver Performance. Even when I did the Yamaha stuff, we still had employees back at the shop, and I'd be around, and you know, we still had the shock business.
Yeah. Rory was an employee, wasn't he?
Yep. A year or so. I just remember he come and did some shocks for me, you know, for a little while, and I still keep in touch with him, and knowing him since Arctic Cat back then too. So, yep, good worker. Yep.
What else did I have here? Did you have anything, Kyle?
I
have a few things quite.
I don't know
here.
much about them Yamahas. You know?
Oh, how much were you involved in like Sioux stuff? Were you involved in that? I'm pretty naive when it comes to the Sioux, and if you ever raced it or been there.
Myself,
yeah.
I've been there, with on the shock end.
Okay.
You know, helping that out. We've done a lot of work on the Sioux with shocks for a lot of guys. Like,
yeah. Okay.
I'm pretty sure like Corey Davidson. I just have to say that all of his wins except one, when he broke down and moved over with Gabe.
Oh, yeah.
But all his other wins, we would have done his shocks.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
I've done shocks for,
Cattery.
done his. Arctic Cat guys.
Yep.
You know, that's guys who've done well. Other teams too. We've helped a number of them out. Number of players, teams. I've had a pretty decent setup for that IQS that they run for the Sioux that guys have liked anyway. You know, so problem is all them guys get lost in the shuffle because because bunkies are just so dominant there.
But how do you even set up shocks for the Sioux? Because it starts out flat, then it turns into a snowcross track. Like,
yeah, you pretty much got to be, the whole sled pretty much has to be set up for the end of the race, and then I know Gunnar can attest to that.
Yeah,
It's hard to explain on how it forms up. That it's just like how the ice shelves itself, and it's just imagine hitting an 8-inch curb of ice, and just on how sharp they are,
and all the time.
No matter where you go, there's those bumps every single place.
Yeah. But they aren't the bumps they used to be, I think, since they started plowing about every 100 laps, 100 miles, whatever. Because you see some videos like, oh boy, early, mid-2000s, was it? And there was some humongous bumps.
Yeah.
That year that Corey switched to Gabe's team and they ended up winning it.
with Josh Davis.
Yeah, with Josh. The picture on the snow week is they're riding a bank around. That bank just kept getting pushed up all day long, and then they just start riding the bank around.
Yep.
Yeah, because there's some stories that people have said like, oh, you couldn't see the guy in the next bump. That they were that deep. It's like, I don't know if I believe that, but in some pictures you can attest to it that they got bumpy.
Yep. So if it's better racing this way or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know they like to do like NASCAR, like have close races, which you had some close races the last few years. So I guess that's it's good for the fans.
Yeah, that's part of it.
I like it. I think it just kind of resets it all, and it gets rough. It'll start somewhat flat in that first that plow break, but then those bumps come right back in 20, 30 laps. So it's nice. It is nice when a new driver gets on and you kind of get a few laps to get settled back in before.
Then it totally comes down to your pit too. You know, when it's that tight, and then you got to have a good.
Because when you do have to pit somebody new in under green, and you get out there on a rough track, it's really tough to find
when it's green.
It's rough. It's like, where do I go?
Yeah, right.
But then, so like, when did you start working with the CBR guys for the snowcross team? Was that, I think that was like 12, 13, or were you with them during the Snow Pro chassis era too?
Nope. Nope, not the Snow Pro. Yeah, so it had to be 12, 13 in there.
Where it seemed like you were traveling to all the races with them and everything.
Logan, I think they were going to pro class because I don't think he was doing semi-pro when I started with them.
Yeah, I think it would have been him and Jonas in pro.
I was with Jonas. Was that maybe the first year?
Oh, sure.
Nope. Before that, I'd helped out when forget his name too. Let's see. We're all drawing a blank.
Kyle?
I have no idea.
I'm not going to ask you.
I have no clue.
Yeah.
Oh, Corey Davis?
Nope.
No, he would have been Snow Pro era.
Yep.
That's really tough.
Somebody listening to this right now.
I know. Just yelling at me. He's doing some hill climbs now.
Garth Kaufman.
Garth Kaufman.
Yeah,
There you go.
yep.
Thank you.
Good job.
On the Michelob Light sled.
Yep. I think that was
cool.
the first year, that I full time. I've always helped them out a little bit. Then they wanted something. Well, and I agree. Of course, Dwight's a competitive guy, and they were getting help from Fox, but they would just get the same as everybody else. And if you have the same as everybody else, you're going to be the same as everybody else. So we tried to, do some different valving and, some different stuff for them. And Logan, just his style, his size and his style needed completely different
Oh, really?
valving. Oh, he rides like, he's big guy and he rides so heavy. his valving was so stiff that you just you just cannot believe it.
And then we're like, so I'm sure you were there on a lot of those test nights with him and Tucker and Fertile when they'd test in the night with the lights on and everything. Was it Kirk doing all of Tucker's stuff then, or were you guys kind of bouncing ideas back and forth?
No, most of the stuff Kirk and Tucker worked on their stuff.
Yeah.
We got some help when there's some years there we switched back to that crosslink.
Oh yeah.
The rear suspension. Then we got a lot of help from Kirk on that because Tucker had been running it on and off. And then so we went to it, and then there's other Arctic Cat teams that did, but then we got it. We needed it, the help, with that crosslink because Kirk had been working on that for forever.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on the crosslink?
It has its place.
Yeah.
It does work. From the first, like anything else, the progression of it, the later versions are so much different than the early one. I don't know if many people even know this. Fox even made a few sets of a new version of crosslink later on for the teams too. That the biggest thing was flow of the oil from the back shock to the front into the reservoir. Because the snowcross, everything moves so fast, everything was just jamming up with flow. Not like hydro lock and throw guys off, and that's something I know Kirk worked on that a lot, and helped us out with that.
Well, I had one thing written down: more frustrating to set up a front arm dial adjust or a crosslink.
I think maybe that front arm adjust.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Those things would like transfer oil. I remember this is at the Sioux with Cadaret one year that he had that on there, and sometime during the race it had shortened up, like it had the front arm pulled all the way up, and then later on the race it was back out.
Just let itself out.
Transferring oil, it'd transfer oil, and and that was older stuff. Everybody, like anybody who ran them at the Sioux was like that mid 90s when the first quick adjust came out.
Yeah.
Where this later one for snowcross they built had a lot bigger like O-rings and more parts to keep it from bypassing and that.
Yeah.
And little tricks, but little valves and stuff in the shock so that it would reset itself and back to full length if it ever did pack up like that.
Our biggest issue with setting them up with our older Arctic Cats that we have now is that the top reservoir, it's that top cavity is just full of air. So then like when it gets moisture in there and everything, that top cavity just rusts. And then so moving that piston up and down, it just seeps by it. And we've had to make like each one we have on the ZR and the ZRT, it's taken about 3 reservoirs to make one that works.
You got to hone out the rust and crap like that.
Yep, because they're we even had the O-ring blowout on Nate at Pine Lake this year as soon as we got out there on the lake.
Covered them with oil. Yeah.
I can help you with that.
But
Because why does it rust?
because it gets moisture in there.
What's it made out of? Steel.
Yeah.
Make them out of aluminum.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
We'll make one for you.
Sure.
Awesome.
We just need a whole new updated front arm adjust for our new sleds.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be cool. But you'd only run in an open class.
No, you could. Shocks are open. You could run a dial adjust.
Well, I don't know how technical they are. They used, because this came out when Cat came out with that dial adjust first, and then Polaris came with it the next year.
Yep.
The shock at that time, and I don't know how the rules are now, the shock was legal to run because that's a shock part. But Arctic Cat was smart about it because the rules were any shock pretty much, right? They filed the adjuster part as a chassis part.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So Polaris couldn't.
Copy
They could have the shock on, and the guys could actually have the adjuster part on up until you went racing.
Wow.
Then legally, I don't even know if they let them keep it on the machine. They're supposed to remove it because it was a chassis part.
Yeah.
And you couldn't have that chassis part from another manufacturer.
You know what? I seen a brand new top dial adjust at Princeton.
And you didn't buy it?
I know the guy though.
It's crazy what's out there yet, and we see stuff come in that's like, where did this come from?
How do you have this?
How do you have it? Yeah, how do you have it? There's some of that stuff too.
Yeah.
It's like, this shouldn't be out there.
How is this brand new still in the package kind of
Yeah.
stuff too?
Yep.
Well, on the topic of like dial adjust or the crosslink, what's your thought on the new Fox live valve stuff that they have, like that Alex Atine and Evan Peppel had implemented on their sleds this
they've
last
been
year?
running that on side by sides for
Yeah.
a while.
Yep.
You know, and it's it's calibration. They got to get them set up and calibrated. It's it's going to be a good.
Yeah.
It'll, like I said, no, they've been working on it. I really haven't seen any problems. We see something occasionally on the side-by-side stuff, but you're going to have that with any new product and development and that. But all this electronic stuff, you guys know, that's just the way things are going.
Yeah.
That's not going to change. It'll get more and more complicated. And,
Is that something that you've like started to implement? Like if somebody brought you any live valve stuff, is that
So the live valve, we see it. We get UTV shocks in, side-by-side shocks.
Yep.
We see that. And that is a little different than the IQS system, like what Arctic Cat comes with.
Yep.
Similar, but different. But it comes down to calibration. I've always said that all these manufacturers, I'm familiar with Arctic Cat, but their calibration is like for 1 or 2 test drivers at Arctic Cat.
Yeah.
And other guys don't like it. So,
Yeah.
as long as they keep doing their job, I'm going to have job security here.
Yeah. The Polaris ones, is that a part of like the 7S display and stuff like that? So to tune that, do you have to have the whole sled? Wonder.
No.
Okay.
Well, so the tuning part in the electronics, that'd be Fox. I don't even know if they can change it. Well, I'm sure certain guys can once production comes. It's like an ECU. But yes, the shocks for sure. The shock internals are still pretty much the same. Then the electronic, what it is like now you have compression adjuster, you turn by hand, and that they're turning it electronically.
I see. So
That's
it's
all it
just
is.
its own ECU standalone thing.
Yeah, they do have their own ECU on the sled as well. So it's
Its own little brain.
yep.
So on the Polaris, does it have its own ECU for the shocks?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Because the Arctic Cat system is incorporated with the sled ECU.
Oh, sure. Yep.
So it's
Different.
different. It's their own programming and
Yeah.
that type of stuff.
We'll have to try to get Evan on the pod down at Hay Days.
Talk
the way,
about it.
The way he explained it to me when I got the sled from him is on how that thing is working 100 different ways
Oh, yeah.
in each split second of braking and on the gas, in and out of corners. Unreal. It's definitely where the future is going to go. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
you can see how well Evans and Alex's sleds worked this past year. It's got to be working good.
Yep.
So
And it's only going to get better.
Did they
It's-
run that in
you're
the
right.
Iron Dog, Alex?
no, he didn't. No, not in the Iron Dog. But yeah, working with the CBR team, so we kind of got off a tangent there. But,
Tends to happen. Yeah.
well, we're talking about front arm adjusters, and
Yeah.
They're sweet.
they are. We'll bring them back.
How sweet would that be? We show up at Pine Lake and we can adjust front arm.
Try it, Kyle. Just rig up. Take one of the ones off
Take
your
one
old.
off the 98.
Well, you missed one. You said you missed one
Yeah.
this week?
Yeah.
I'll give that guy a call. So I need that.
Was it just the dial and the hose?
Yeah.
Or was it the whole shock and
It
everything?
was still in the wrapper, like the
Oh,
packaging.
jeez.
Yeah.
You
It was
didn't buy it.
vacuum sealed. I didn't. The guy had so much cool stuff. I bought an auxiliary fuel tank for an LT Gray, so it goes in the trunk of an LT
Yeah,
Gray.
it takes into the toolbox.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
So I bought that brand new.
Brand new.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, bought a lot of good stuff.
Mike, I don't see that extra 12 skid frame you bought.
The
from
front
the
shocks are over there.
Oh, really?
There.
The chrome springs.
Yep.
Oh, that's what we need to bring back is chrome springs.
springs.
Would be sweet.
Do I have a deal for you?
Yeah, what rate are them on?
I'll tell you.
Did you like that going to every snowcross race with the team?
I did, and like I said, with Christian Brothers and knowing Dwight and, I've helped out Logan on his dirt bike since he was, 5 years old or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they, I'm kind of back when he raced Kitty Cats. He showed me, I don't know if it's in Dwight's house or Logan's house. They got its first Kitty Cat is like in a display case.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep. And they got a Carver Performance sticker right on the headlight.
Nice.
So, but yeah, I enjoy going to the races. Watching them. Trying to figure out how to make them go better, and what we need to do with shocks and all that type of stuff. And it wasn't just shock stuff. It's all part of the whole suspension. You guys know you got front arm travel and how things are handling, and
Well, because like the early days of that, it would have been still an open chassis rule still. So like in the early days when you were going there, 13, 14, I can't remember when it switched from an open chassis to just motor.
Yep.
And
That's about when they were running they call them mod 600s, but they could only do heads and pipes.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's the chassis weren't as open as they were earlier, which that's a tough. I think they're kind of going in the right direction as far as keeping costs down. A simple sled, but still mods are fun, and you're always going to get some people are going to.
It sounds like the Canadian circuit is bringing them back.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. I did hear some crazy rumor that they were trying to talk to the manufacturers to see if they would build twin pipes for their current snowcross sleds. To just have instead of going to this brand or this brand and having everybody build their own sets of twin pipes, if the manufacturer gave the racers the twin pipes to use, just to implement the twin pipes back. There's a rumor I heard this past week. I don't know if I believed it or not, but
Makes sense. But.
No.
Then you're just going more for the sound.
Noise. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be then, kind of?
But everybody, it's all even playing field.
Yeah.
Then.
Yep. Yeah, it's just dependent on how well the manufacturer builds
Right.
that set of twin pipes.
Well, but then it goes. Can you only use the pipes the manufacturers come with,
that was
or
what
can
was-
Speedworks make a pair, and can you use them? Can somebody else make pipes? Well,
What I had heard was that it was only manufacturers, so they didn't have the cost was the complaint of having all these aftermarket companies making different sets of twin pipes.
yeah.
Not sure I believe it yet, but
What I would do is just get Tim Bender up in there and make a bunch of sets of pipes, and then,
Well,
you know.
Do you think somebody would do that? That's OE, right? He's working for the OE.
Yeah, get Jeremy Houle of Antarctica and slap some pipes together. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, kind of back to the Christian brothers. Yeah, I enjoyed helping them out, working with them. It was fun watching Logan. Good rider. Was it 18? He had a really good year. It's so close with you end up not winning. Like a final. So close so many times.
Jackson Hole in 2018, it was I think Tucker passed him right on the last
corner of the last lap.
Yeah.
That's in my memory. I can see it yet.
Playing his day.
Yep.
Yeah.
When we interviewed Logan, that was we brought that up too, and it was like, you couldn't have told Tucker, just let me have this one.
You got how many?
Yep.
Let me have one.
Yep.
But he had some big wins there at Eagle River. He'd won those Eagle River snowcross races, I think 2 years there or so. But
yeah.
But no, and then that 2018 Artie Cat snowcross sled was just a step above the rest that first year. It was just unreal. It was what everybody kind of copied after that.
It is, and I think, and I've never asked Logan this, but him and Tucker were really instrumental in developing that sled, working on it in the springtime, testing it, and then to have the season that they did the next year, that's satisfying. That was, like anything back when I worked at CAT, and you develop something and it gets on the assembly line, you see it on the sled, in production. That's pretty satisfying.
What was a race day like then? If for you, were you taking shocks apart in between races and heat races, or was it kind of just
Not very often. If there was an emergency, yes, of course.
Yeah.
But we tried to stay ahead. Usually in the trailer, what I was working on, they had a shock station in the trailer. I was working on a week or two down the road. We know the tracks, and you have experience what they're like.
Yep.
Keeping stuff fresh, so that if they had a problem, he crashed or whatever, had to have a spare shock.
Oh, sure.
That he had a spare with the same setup, ready to go.
Yeah.
Whatever, practice sleds. So we were, there was times, yes. I can remember, especially with the crosslink when we first got that, and we were running a crosslink with when Dave Jonas was there, and there'd be times. Well, you run two programs, 2 nights of racing.
Yep.
So we'd be changing setups, for the next night and that type of stuff too.
Yeah.
So, but most of the time it was just, trying to stay ahead of the curve,
Yeah.
not, be in panic mode and all that thing. Bad things happen when, like that. And for the most part, that worked out.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, it's always like us cross-country guys, when they show some clips of inside the trailer of snowcross races where those guys are just doing full dismantles of the sleds in between heat races and mains, and it's like, what are they doing? Like
Anything and everything.
Changing brake pad.
Well, that just goes without saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I always like when they sometimes can throw a Wes Selby jab in there of dragging the brakes or something on the broadcast. That's always pretty funny. But yeah, that's it had been a fun crew there with even like Eckery was in the trailer at that
Never
time.
a dull moment around there.
We're still trying to get Eckery on the podcast. We're still trying. He's playing hardball.
Is he?
Yep.
Playing hardball.
If we could get Brian and Eckery in here
Oh, boy.
and a case of Busch Light, I'm sure the stories would start flowing pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yep. You'd have to up your run time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mike, you got countless cross-country wins with Zach Herfindahl, with I'm sure the list goes on and on and on. And then the I-500 wins with Herf, and were you with like Ryan Simons in the early days of?
Yep. When they were with Christian Brothers. Yep. We were doing the shocks for them on the cross country.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All the pictures on the wall here.
Erdman and
Yep.
Mitch Sebastian right there on the phaser.
Yeah. Yep.
Wes and Brian.
But yeah, the I-500 wins, the Sioux I-500 wins, the Iron Dog.
Yep. We've won the Iron Dog once.
Yep. Well, was that with Corey and Ryan? Not with them, or
when they did the Iron Dog, they had a lot of help.
that'd have been 2018, I
Yep.
believe.
I know we did some stuff for them, but I'm not sure. Brian Dick did a lot of work with them, setting up sleds up there.
Sure.
So, I'm sure we did some along the way, but I can't remember that we did the shocks they ran at the Iron Dog.
Any oval stuff? Are you in the oval stuff? Is kind of its own freaking its own.
Yep. Steph and I were talking about that today. It's like it is its own little world.
Yeah.
We've done some stuff here and there. I've supplied some shocks and some parts to Mike Hool for some of his, but he does the work. I'm just supplying him with some shocks and then parts or whatever, and he's doing his stuff to him down there.
Yeah.
We do a little bit here and there, like with Wall Brothers,
Yep.
as far as they're selling some shocks and stuff like that. But they've been involved with Fox in the past. I know now they're doing like Walker Evans
Yep.
on their machines, but I've known them guys for years too.
Yeah. No, it is kind of interesting that the oval industry is kind of its own entity almost. It's almost all hand built stuff. Like the only thing, the closest thing is now the F3 sleds. But
yes, we have built some F3 stuff.
Oh, really?
Yep. We did some work with Zach on his F3 sled. I can't remember now. A couple other guys, with some F3 stuff we've helped out.
Yeah. Huh. What is like with the snowcross side of things? I guess when prior to 2018, I guess it was kind of all getting pretty steep and everybody would just slap off of the jumps. And now it seems like everybody's just pounding through the jumps. What's your take on tracks or building better tracks, or the sleds are getting so good that
the sleds are so good for sure.
Yeah.
Weather and the track conditions change so much, with
Yeah.
if it's cold out, warm out, and what the snow, what the snow is made from. If it's natural snow or man-made snow, it's, it's so tough. The different manufacturers, it's like anything else, different conditions are conducive to their sleds. It seems like right now, Skidoo's got the best all-around package.
Yep. They always say like the X Games tracks are looked back on as being so good and so big, but they're like built weeks in advance and they were frozen and they stayed formed, but then there also wasn't 300 sleds
exactly
going on them.
Yep, and then it wasn't 300 sleds. You had the best riders in the world that aren't going to be casing them all the time and pounding them up. Like you said, the number of sleds.
Yep.
They build them way ahead of time. They were hard. I mean, hard as a rock. You didn't want to, come up short. And because I know there's times in X Games, tell you it's one of the things you go there and see them, how big some of the jumps are in the big air. You remember seeing like kind of like how the vapor trail where the guys are flying through the air and the snow is coming out of the tunnel. And, I mean, them guys are in the air. I mean, 3-4 seconds. I mean, you can count it. It's like that's just
kind of like that Blair Morgan picture right there.
Oh yeah,
launching year 97.
Yep.
I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, you're so far in the air, you don't even see any part of the ground. You're just floating in the sky.
Yep.
Didn't they have a X Games track that jumped over the other track?
Yep.
Like it went underneath it?
Yeah, they did that one or 2 years.
That's just freaking nuts.
So then, Mike, you kind of got back into racing yourself. Like you said with CBR, they gave you a sled. I believe it was like 2015 or 16, where you had that. You came back for like 1 or 2 races or something.
Well, the plan was to run the 500.
Okay.
The GG 500. Well, I ended up being canceled that year. And CBR had the sled, set it up. I mean, I felt like factory driver.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, show up and race, and then and that was fun and everything. And then it didn't work out for the 500 that year, but then I was back. as far as hooked and wanting to race, so just kept getting sleds and going racing. And,
because then it seemed like 2018 or 19 there that you're back full time doing the whole circuits again. It seemed like.
Oh, yeah.
But then you started bringing riders along with you.
Yeah. So Steph might have to help me. I don't know if it was that year. No, it wasn't the year with CBR. I think the next year I was racing at Pine Lake, and I like ice racing. I've done well and get my sleds to go good. And I've been running the vet class. I didn't run any other class, but how they run other classes in the support, not in the pro classes, but in our classes, there'd be juniors or women's or whatever. And was running my class, and I don't know, a couple laps in or whatever, I seen this sled coming. And pretty soon he's up alongside me and, got by me, and I knew he wasn't in my class, so I didn't fight him or anything, but let him go by, and I'm following him, and he's pulling away, and I'm like, got done, and I go to Steph, said, who was that guy? Well, here it was Keegan Hauser.
Oh.
And he was on a junior sled, a half-throttle sled. I'm like, holy cow, and then that kind of opened up the eyes, and I think he was winning by, a fair amount or whatever, but that's where I first seen Keegan. I didn't know who he was. I had to ask her, and she goes, oh, you know who they are? You do their shocks. I'm like, well, I can't tell out there on the track, but so that put him on my radar, and we got to know them more and help him out, and he advanced. And
that was what I was wondering, because it seemed like you were helping like Keegan and Brady Wadena there for for a year or two, and then it was like the next year it was the Carver team,
Yep.
where it was you even brought in Nick Swenson,
Yep.
to run semi-pro, and we had just talked to Nick a few weeks ago after the border battle race. Super nice guy,
Yep.
and got a few stories from him. But yeah, what was the reasoning to want to start the team? Was Artie Cat behind it at all? Like, hey, we want you to help run a team?
No,
or?
not at all. It was 100% ours.
Oh, really?
Yep. Each rider had their own deal on sleds and sleds parts and whatever there was. And then we helped them out, at the races with the trailer and my support and that. So, yeah.
Because that's super cool to do, because you could easily just do it by yourself and just like, hey, I'll help people with shocks in my trailer, but it's my one sled in here.
Yeah. Yep. I've done that too, but it's pretty fulfilling, or I enjoy doing that and having them do well.
Yeah.
Help them set up sleds and, doing the testing and all that.
Yeah. It's cool to see like Alex Satine and the Bunkies are doing that as well with Alex Satine and Oliver Olson. And it's cool to see where these pro guys could easily just be like, it's my trailer, one sled in here, but they're opening it up to these semi-pro kids and women's riders. And so that's pretty cool to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We tested, the first year of the Catalyst. Mm-hmm. We, these last couple of years, no snow, so it's been lake races. But we would test. There's a little lake just, west of town here, but it's golf course. It's only a mile from my shop. And we had, 2 or 3 races. We had Pine Lake and, 2 races at Nadawash.
Yep.
But by the end of the year, our sleds had 1,600 miles on them. Because we were out testing and the sleds needed the testing.
Yeah.
We're a little down on speed and everything, but you got to give it a try.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It's never ending.
Well, it's never ending.
No,
Yep.
no. Just the same setup, just in different temperatures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just, it's 0 today, but next week it's going to be 30 above. It's going to be different.
Yep, for sure. So, we enjoyed that. Unfortunately for us, the last couple of years with the snow too affects our business and that. So we just haven't been able to do the team anymore. And, so we're still going to help out. Both Keegan and Brady are going to race again this year, and we'll help them out any way we can there.
Yeah. No, that's really cool to see. But for yourself, are you coming back again, Mike?
No,
No?
I don't think so.
What if we got a 60-plus class? If we tell Todd to get a 60-plus class going.
Yeah. How about a 60-plus fan cool class? Or something?
Hey, there you go.
We do have we could my dad's old 99 XCF 440 fan, that one of his favorite sleds, or at least handling sleds. He said it was terribly slow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But we could get his old race sled in our garage within about an hour, because we know the owner of it. Regan has it.
Yep, that's right.
So
I got the same one, so let's
really?
Let's do it.
tell Chad to get a fan class going at Pine Lake.
Yep.
Yep.
They're finicky though.
When they were new, them fans went, like, was it 2001s, the Artie Cat 440 fans?
Yep. They were
the ones
good.
you can't find pistons. And,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Car boots for. Yeah. Same with the Polaris fans. Can't find car boots for them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
You'd think somebody would have been able to just make some repop, like 3D model,
I don't think
printed ones by now of.
if there's not a huge market for them, because that 440 reed valve, what other sled came with that engine? There wasn't another sled with it.
Yeah, I guess
So.
more your interest than mine.
Yeah, I did see some people were trying to like 3D print them and stuff, but I don't know whatever come up of it.
Sure. Yeah, they are getting hard. The boots for the ZR 440, like ours, those are getting hard to find. But, well, I don't know, Mike. What else? Did you have any other questions, Kyle? Any?
I thought I did. But
Ask Mike about an old sled or something.
you ever get Olin shocks for one of these?
No, I had a set of struts that were Olin's.
Yeah.
I can't remember where I got them from, and then I sold them. There was a guy up in Thief River that had the SRVs too. They raced them when they first came out, and he got them. I don't know if he put them on the sled, but they did make struts for him back in the day.
Great. Yeah, we'll have to figure out a spec for them things. And
Well, what I want to do with them is they're not rebuildable, but I want to be able to. I haven't taken one apart. I want to be able to machine it apart and get in there and do some work to them. But
God,
I need to. If anybody knows a good re-chroming place, because a lot of struts are chipped, the chrome is coming off and stuff too. So I need them first. I need to fix.
I thought
that
there
up.
was a place in Duluth that did it, but I'm not.
Get them re-chromed and I only have 3 more behind the door back there, so I've got parts.
Yeah.
If we were to look for a SRX 700 bike, and you being a Yamaha guy, what year would be the best? I know like 98s had a crank issue. I believe.
Yeah, no, that era
A crank recall
Yeah,
of sorts, but what I've been told is the 2000s 01s are the better ones. Not sure, but that's one of the sleds that Arlen Racing might field at Pine Lake.
Yeah.
Might have one of those out there.
yep. I don't know, but I could find out.
Yeah. What about any vintage stuff, Mike? Would you get we're having so much fun in these classics classes with these older sleds. Would you dive into any of that or?
Well, back behind the door back there, at number 2, I have a 292 Lynx.
Oh,
really?
Kawasaki, yeah. Single
Wow.
cylinder.
Yeah.
I just picked that up this summer. So
Oh, really? For like long one?
You never know.
Yeah.
First thing is going to get it running. So
Yeah.
it does have one shock on there. I'm going to have to do something about that.
Yeah.
One shock on the skid frame, none on the skis.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's
It's always stuff to tinker
That's a
with.
deep rabbit hole there.
Hey, there's some big payouts
Yeah.
for some of those one
Yep.
lunger races.
The one I want to go do is kind of like a hare scramble. It's over by Willow River. It's 25 miles, I think, but
Yeah.
it's like a 5-mile lap or something.
What's it called?
The Jackrabbit or
I
something.
think I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I want to do.
Oh, really?
Colin and my old man went and raced it one time. They said it was a blast.
And it's single cylinders,
Yep,
right?
yep. And they have different classes, so like your exciters or whatever aren't in the same class as like a lot of Lynx would be in. So, and then it goes off the carburetor, so there's HD and HR.
Yep.
And then whatever relic class was, I don't really know the.
You have to keep me posted.
Yeah. We sold all of our single cylinder stuff, but they're everywhere. We can find another one.
And then this past winter, Mike, you were set up at the Ditchbringer National
Oh,
down in Elk River.
yeah.
What was that like? Kind of eye opening.
That was an unbelievable event.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you get a lot of business doing that?
Well, the reason I went down, I was pretty busy down there, but the week or two, the week of, these guys are calling up wanting their shocks fixed up from their, 90s vintage sleds that
Yeah.
haven't been run for 15 years, but they want the shocks done the week of the race. But that's normal. I mean, that's normal. But that ditch banger stuff is growing. Because at that time, how many race sleds? How many these race sleds did they make at that time? It was hundreds of them.
Yeah, right.
Versus 30, 40 now or whatever. That's definitely a growing area. We've gotten so many calls and done a lot of work on that stuff.
I think that's the future. There is,
the
as
future.
far-
The future is 20-year-old
going in
sleds.
the past.
Yep.
But how cheap is it to go down and just
Exactly.
put
The
miles
cost.
on?
Yeah.
Yep. And that's grassroots there.
Yeah.
Them
totally.
guys have so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
You still got a few guys that kind of, I don't know if they ruin it for everybody else because of how much money and what they do to the sleds or whatever. But for the majority of the guys, they go down there and they have a good time for a couple days. And
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Go beat around the track and
Yeah.
yep.
Saturday night with a band. That would be you get something.
Oh,
I think
totally.
they have-
Do they race on Sunday?
No, it was a
it's
Friday. It was Friday, Saturday.
Friday,
this past year.
Saturday. There we go.
And it's to the point. I mean, I don't know if you guys knew Logan.
Yeah.
At CBR,
Yep.
they were planning on having a race, and the weather didn't cooperate.
Yeah, the 286 guys were gonna do a ditchbringer race.
I hope they get that one.
them.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
It'd be fun to, and then I think there's that one out in Michigan where they have ditchbringer races.
Yeah, that's like a series out
Yep,
there.
yeah, they have a winter long series of it where it's, I don't know, it's popular. It's fun. It's fun to do. I had a blast down there, and we'll be bringing a couple sleds down
Yeah.
there this year.
Yep.
So,
Brody, you going to do the 1-cylinder class down there?
Give me an LT gray.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't one cylinder. It was leaf spring.
Leaf
Leaf
spring.
spring,
Yeah.
No, don't build an LT gray for me. I'm not doing it.
There's like 3 or 4 of them that are ready to go.
Nope. I don't want to do it. I'll watch.
Drive them into the back of your pickup and head down there.
Yeah, I won't take up any room in the trailer.
Yep. Pull it out of the back of the truck and go.
Some people were doing that at
Yep,
Ditch
for
Banger.
sure.
A lot of open trailer, 2-place trailers.
Yep.
What I was thinking about doing is kind of the same idea you had, but just get a whole bunch of clutch rebuilds and then advertise clutch rebuilds.
Yeah.
on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you brought that up
Yeah.
a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you were going to tune carburetors.
That too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Get your machine dialed in. You
Just
will win.
jack
the pro.
stand tune them right there in the pits.
Yeah. Air screws.
There you go.
Yeah. Runs good on a jack stand.
Mike, do you have any hot takes or just things about the industry that you would like to see changed or different or have an opinion on of a hot take or
Hot take. Well, I can tell you it's good for everybody that Arctic Cat is back going, but we need weather.
Yeah.
All the manufacturers need weather. So
Yep.
everybody's like, is Cat going to make it? Is Cat going to make it? Well, if it doesn't snow, nobody's going to make it.
Yep.
Yep.
I
Totally.
think that's just reality. You know, everybody, you hear them talking about, oh, we need cheap sleds, They'll make, manufacturers done that too. They've made a cheaper sled.
Yeah.
They don't sell.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants, the bells and the whistles and all that too. So that's, I think where this ditch banger stuff is coming, they can buy these cheap sleds and go racing. But as far as new sleds, doesn't matter. Pickups,
Yeah.
everybody wants the bells and whistles and the latest stuff. You know, you're talking about the coming with the Polaris and they got these, the electronic shocks and all that. That's the future. It's going to be tough. Trails, they need to keep trails open for consumers to ride and everything, and that's getting to be tougher too.
Yep.
I think you're gonna, snowmobile clubs, they're fighting to keep stuff open. With all the funds to keep everything going
Yep.
too. That's getting tighter and tighter all the time. So
like we've even heard it's getting hard for like the permits to run cross country races.
Yes.
Like even in the ditches and everything.
I
So
know.
it's
Yep.
getting harder and harder. And
Yep, and that's all trickled down. I mean, and you need the consumers. Yeah, it's fun. We race, we like that and everything, but what pays for our racing? It's the sale of the consumer sleds, so that these manufacturers have budgets, and there's got to be some way to get more new people back into it because we've lost so many over the years.
Yeah.
But the whole power sports is seeing a downturn.
No.
Side by sides and everything. So hopefully we can ride it out and be back. When it comes back, get a few good years of snow
And that's the thing too. You need a couple years of good snow. You can't just have one and it'll fix everything.
Yeah.
It's got to be
Consistent.
2, 3, 4 at least.
And you need broad coverage. Like they had good snow at East last year.
Yep.
So dealers did well and everything, but there's still sleds in the pipeline that need to be cleaned out. So I don't know. That's it. But technology that's going to keep advancing. It's
They want a cheap sled that's a $850
Yeah.
for the same price as you can get the Blast 400 or something.
Right.
But it's some give and take.
It's a give and take. You're 100% right. So
Snow Pro 500. That was a perfect sled.
it was. It really was.
It was a great sled.
Yep.
I wish I would have kept mine, and I would have got the Speedworks 720 kit for it.
Yeah.
I think that would have been because that Snow Pro chassis is such a fun, light, nimble chassis.
The one I was sending you pictures of, this past week.
Yeah.
I was really thinking about it.
And I gave mine away for like $2,700.
Yeah.
Like a couple years ago when the sled industry was
Way down. Yeah.
before COVID and everything. It was you couldn't give sleds away. But
Well, what are you looking forward to in the future? You have anything coming up? Any big plans? Anything that you're really excited for? Or you're just chipping away?
Well, kind of chipping away now, get some weather. You know, my business is still pretty heavily snowmobile related with the racing and all that. Yeah, we're seeing more side-by-side stuff. So that helps.
Still
But
do a lot of dirt car stuff?
No, that's kind of slowed down. I have done some of that.
Really?
But no, not much of that lately.
Dan Ebert races for Fox, so
Yep.
Yeah,
he does
direct
our-
sponsors Fox. Yep.
Yep. They do R&D. They do sell. They have like dirt car package shocks and stuff like that.
Because look, you still offer that on your website. I was seeing that I was looking on your website today, and so you still have the UTV stuff, and like you offer some dirt bike stuff, like some seals and
Yeah, we still do rebuilds and service work and valving work on dirt bikes.
yeah.
Had a few 4-wheelers this year. I mean, guys are still racing the old TRX, 400s and that type of stuff too. So, we see a little of everything.
Really.
Yep. I been around it long enough for so long that, guys call us for old, information on the old stuff or working on the old things like that. We get shocks in, Fox made shocks for Harley Davidsons like in the early 2000s, late
Really?
90s. Yep.
I'll be damned.
So we see those and still.
Ford Raptors, you advertise that on your website.
Yep. That's, that's their off-road department, but yeah, the truck pickup stuff is that's bigger and bigger. Because there's so many in production, on cars or trucks nowadays. And,
Even aftermarket, you can order a set of Fox shocks and then
yep, for sure.
But you're not going to be at Heydays, Mike?
Nope. I have a family event this year, so we aren't going to make it down there. I don't know down the road. I have nothing, I guess, planned right now as far as events like that.
Oh, sure. Oh, fly.
So, yeah. Nope. I've talked about I need to do some work. We're talking about like maybe like ZR 200 shocks.
Yeah.
Something like that's kind of a good market there. The race circuits right now run stock shocks, so that's would help me if they could make some changes there. But people still like their upgrades.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, and that's a market. That's an untapped market there.
Yep. That
Where
is.
if they opened up the shock rule at all, it'd be booming.
Yep.
You'd be flooded with work the day that came out.
You'd be cussing these ZR 200 shocks.
But that's where I got to maybe do a little better work and do some, selling or politicking or whatever there. So,
yeah, that's tough too with just so many different classes and rules, and this class allows it, this class doesn't, and this circuit does, and that circuit doesn't.
And there again, I've been on the promoter side, and you're trying to help the racers, with costs and everything too. So
yeah, that's true.
Because it's true, a racer is his own worst enemy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mike, we had you here for 2 hours, so it flies by.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yep.
But no, we really appreciate. Bert, you got anything else? Anything to add or?
No, I don't know. Like, how would people get a hold of Carver Performance and get your work?
Well, we have our website, carverperformance.com.
Pretty easy.
Pretty easy.
Yeah,
All our information's on there. Phone number. There's an email to contact us.
You also have like service notes and stuff on there too. So like if you're rebuilding your shocks by yourself, you can get like all the IFP depth and everything.
Yes, there's a very in-depth chart for servicing. And then there's links right on there if you find your shock you're working on that you can go to parts, seal kits, and that type of stuff. It's all
It's
That's
all
pretty
right
cool.
on there.
it's super helpful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We get a lot of comments on that. There's nobody else has anything like that.
That's cool.
So there's the main page that has the Fox shocks. I think there's well over 3,000 different part numbers on that on that sheet right there.
Awesome. Yeah, cool.
Do you keep seal kits and stuff like that on hand?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Seal kits, shafts,
Yep.
all kinds of parts.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, if the video could see the parts
Yeah.
behind us here,
Yeah.
it's totes and
Skid
buckets.
frame that I bought, with the adjusters and
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
Need seal kits for that.
Yep.
So,
Right over there.
We'll ring you up as we leave.
yeah.
But no, Mike, we really appreciate you sitting down with us.
Yeah, thanks,
today.
guys.
And,
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for opening up your shop and letting us sit. It was
Yeah.
real cool.
and,
Awesome.
And to Steph. Oh yeah, Steph.
Oh.
Yeah, said you had a guest suggestion for us for the podcast.
I do. So you just had a great interview with Roger Skyme.
Yeah.
And I know you could talk to somebody that's very close to Roger to have some good stories for you. You should interview his wife.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Over the years,
Yeah.
I know there's some stories there
Yeah.
that she could tell that.
That's a good idea.
The more, a lot more of the background of racing life and,
Yeah.
and everything
I
like
have
that.
No
Yeah.
idea if she'd do anything like that, but we were talking about that. It's like,
That's a really good idea.
It was awesome when we were up there with Roger that they had made supper for us after the show and
yeah.
everything, and we had ice cream with Roger, and it was a blast. Even after the show, we just sat down there at their kitchen table and just talked for
Last
another
night, I was going through
couple hours.
snow weeks and stuff like that, and then I read a couple things about Roger Skyme, and then here I turn on the podcast with Roger Skyme. So I'm watching the episode. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good suggestion because we're hoping to be able to plan something with Roger again to go up there on the 100th episode or something.
There you go.
Along the lines of that. So,
Yep.
but yeah, it's been when Steph reached out to me that, hey, would you be interested in having Mike on the podcast? I was like, of course.
Yeah.
But it's just been I take the blame of an extremely busy summer. So we've been kind of lacking on the guests.
It's his fault.
But yeah, I do
Also my fault. Yeah.
I do blame Brody on that. But
We're all busy.
Yeah.
We're all busy.
lacking on the planning of guests. But now after heydays now we'll have like 2 months of kind
Working
of
on stuff.
Yeah, working on sleds and the events are kind of done until race season. So
Yeah.
but no, thanks again, Mike. And we'll be doing a Heydays preview next week. Before Heydays. So but Carver Performance for all your shock needs. Don't wait until the last minute to get your ditch banger shocks done.
So if you're working on your ditch banger right now,
Yep.
get them sent out.
If you're thinking about working on your ditch banger now,
Awesome.
What is your turnaround time usually, Mike? Like if somebody sent you an old set of shocks.
well, it depends on the time of the year. Right now, we're pretty caught up. I have a guy that comes in working for me during the wintertime. It's helped me for years. And once he's here 1 to 2 weeks, I usually, not very often we go beyond that.
Sure.
During the busy season,
Yep.
we actually try to keep it because everybody wants their stuff back. And we realize that and do what we can to get it turned around right away.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. Don't wait till the last minute.
Yeah.
But
Yep. It's going to snow this year. Don't wait till the snow comes.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You haven't rode your sled in 2 years. You
Yep.
might need some
You should
shock work.
Yep. You should have it ready by now.
Yeah. But all right. Thanks, Mike Carver and Carver Performance. So see you in the next one.
Awesome.
Thanks,
See ya.
guys.
Yep, thank you.